In our last session, we seen how to create a local table, nothing but a blank table, and then import data from a CSV file into the table. Okay. Now in today's session, we are going to see about how to create a remote table. Okay. What exactly a remote table? It means when we do a connections, from different source systems into our what is it? Into our space. Okay. From those source systems, we can import a table here. It's a remote table. It means we are not, the intention here is not to store the data persistently in the cloud database in the Datasphere, but to bring the data on virtually at runtime. Okay, that is the very important. That is the main requirement for the importing remote tables. At the same time, SAP Datasphere is providing a functionality like we can persist the data also. So we see this concept in a coming time. Okay, so why we create remote tables instead, when we connect different sources to SAP Datasphere, and to use those remote tables virtually to bring data to Datasphere while doing reporting, we use these remote tables. Okay, so let's see how to import a remote table into Datasphere. So when you go to this data builder, okay, under data builder, under table section, if we click on this icon, import icon, there we have an option called import remote tables. And currently we are working on the demo environment, a demo given by SAP. So in this trial version, in this trial version, we have, as I told in my earlier class, last class. So we have one S4 cloud connection available in our trial version. So using this S4 cloud, connection, we can bring data from S4 system into our, our space. So select the account S4 cloud and click on next step. So now you see here it is showing import table as a header, and under S4 cloud I can see here all the ABAP CDSUs. Okay, if I expand it, I can find the ABAP CDSUs. If I expand it, then system is loading the ABAP CDSUs here. Now with when I worked earlier here, I seen one of the like this is my pickup. C underscore purchase order item DX is one of the CDSU available in S4 cloud. Okay, I'm going to search this CDSU. Here C means consumable, CDSU. I means information or something. I forgot that. Okay. So C purchase order index. So I'm selecting this particular CDSU. When I select it, it is processing something. What exactly it is doing? It is checking the CDSU. And then what it will do, it will return the CDSU type, whether it is a fact type or master data type, CDSU. And this purchase order item DEX is a fact type model. Okay, no? So that's why it is showing facts here. For example, this CDSU is of type master data. Then it is showing here master data. So I'm selecting these facts and then clicking on next step. And here what I can see here, next step, ready for import. You see, because this is this remote table is already available in my workspace, means in my what I can say in my space. So that's why it is showing already in the repository. And when I click on it here, you see it is showing facts table and S4 cloud ABAP CDS. This is my CDSU name. Okay, so because it is already used in my space, it is not allowing me to get it again. So what I'm going to do now, just I'm closing it, and what I can do now, let's look for another import table then. Fine. Okay, import remote table. Let me take a pass here. So because now purchase order item is no more not available because it's already available in my space. So I am choosing a different CDSU, C underscore purchase order. Okay, I am selecting this one and then clicking on next step. So now it is nothing but C underscore purchase order. Okay, here you see under ready for imports, it is showing, yeah, because it is ready for import and it is not already available in my repository. So now here we have a business name and technical name. So for this particular one, I can provide technical name. So to make sure, for our easy understanding and later for the review, I am giving the name as RT underscore purchase order. Okay, DEX, because it is coming DEX at the end. So I'm giving same name. whatever technical name I'm giving here, the same business name also I'm going to copy paste here. So when this table got imported into my space, then it will import with this name RT purchase order DX and business name also same. And then click on import and deploy. Okay, now you see it was imported in under the import status. We can see import successful. Okay, now close this window because this table already imported. Now under my table section, I can see RT purchase order DX table, and you see the status pending. The status is still pending. So once it is deployed, then I can go for further things. Okay, now click on this particular table, then it will go on in the edit mode here. It's not edit mode, but it will open the definition of this purchase order in the purchase order table, CDS view. So now it is here under the general tab, I can see the business name, technical name, and the semantic usage, usage and the connection. So we are using the connection as S4 cloud, and from S4 cloud, it is a ABAP CDS view, and this is the CDS view name. Okay, purchase order DAX. Okay, and the data access is remote table. So under this general and remote, I can get the information. So under the columns, around 57 columns are there under this remote table. Okay, so the suggestion here is when we trying to import the remote table, import it as it is and don't perform any further changes under this remote table. So why means the other further changes we are going to perform under the view, means because if we do something changes here, then if the later point it may be difficult to perform revert back. So let's see what other changes we can do here. We will discuss that also. Under the general tab we know, and what is remote tab we know. Under columns also we have this one, and filters are there. For example, from this remote table, if your requirement is not to bring each and every record but only to bring the some specific conditions, then you can apply some filters here. And associations, business purpose dependent, we can see in later time, not that much important here. Okay, and what else important things that you want to see here? Is the deployment completed or not? Because if the deployment completed, then we will see further options. Now deployment completed, right? So let's go one more time into the one remote table. So because the deployment was finished successfully, now you see under the remote section we found some more extra options here. Earlier these are not present. Now under the remote section we can see these things. What are these things here? If I click on here, load new snapshot, enable real-time access, that is one option. What exactly it is? Remote table is nothing but a virtual table. The main intention of remote table is like a virtual table, but so if because our SAP Datasphere is a cloud-based tool, so now when we do reporting on this one, if it is runtime, when user clicks on the report execution, if at that time it is trying to go to the source table via connection and then fetching data from there and then bringing again into the reporting stuff, it may take some time. Based upon the number of records in our remote table, the performance degrades. If the more number of records, the more performance degradation we can observe. So to overcome this functionality what SAP providing here, we can load a snapshot or enable real-time access. Doing so, what will happen? Instead of fetching at a real runtime the data into Datasphere, we can bring the data into our Datasphere cloud environment on real-time basis. Means on every frequent time frames we can bring the changes, or we can load on daily basis scheduling by update by creating some schedules. We can bring data into our SAP Datasphere cloud environment, so that what happen when users execute the report, it will come from the cloud itself, so the execution will be more faster when compared to extracting data at runtime from the source system. So that kind of leverage SAP is giving for the remote tables. But what I am saying, don't perform any schedules at this level, because we can perform this in later stages also. I will show you what is that later stage now. Now coming to this, to create schedules, as I said, we can schedule data from source into our SAP Datasphere cloud. So from using this option, we can create schedules, we can edit schedules, or we can delete it. And by clicking on the refresh, what will happen? If you click on it, the delta will come. after one successful initial snapshot. If you click on after that, if you click on refresh button, then it will bring the delta records into this into this Datasphere space. Okay, to open the monitor, to check the logs of last execution status and all, by clicking on this link you can go it. So why I'm not opening anything, not doing anything means we will learn this concept in coming time under view section. Okay, so when we create a remote table, good to have, if you know definitely that I need only one specific set of filter, then better to create that filter here. But if your filter is with respect to business usage, then don't kept filter at this level, and you can kept filter at the next level. Okay, so what is the next level? The next level is creating a view. Okay, now we learned how to import a remote table from S4 cloud into our space. But now next what we are going to learn, how to create a view. Okay, in view there are two types of view. There are, one is graphical view, another one is SQL view. So if the view which you are going to create is a simple kind of operations, then you can go for graphical view. And if it is not at all possible to define the view with using graphical, then we go for SQL view. Okay, based upon the complexity we can choose anyone. Now let's learn with the graphical view. So either I can click here on the plus symbol and go for creation of graphical view, or I can click on this new graphical view. Okay, so then we will get this designer screen. The middle one is diagram and the left one is a repository. So from the repository I can expand the table section to find my remote table here. So we are going to create a graphical view on top of remote table which we extracted from S4 cloud. So RT underscore purchase order DEX is my fact. This is the one which is our remote table. Okay, so now I'm selecting that, I'm dragging and dropping into my diagram panel. So then we got this kind of thing. So what exactly is this? Left hand side it is showing the remote table and the corresponding information. So from where, what is the connection, what is the exact name of the remote table, and what are the columns. Around 57 columns are there, right? All the columns I can see, and some other options, associations, input parameters, depending objects. Okay, so we will see all this together. Oops. Okay, now I clicked on the white screen and did this drag and drop. It came like this. Okay, it's like a white page, so you can move this white page anywhere here. Okay, no need to select this one. Now when I click on the left hand side table, so this is my source, which is remote table. On the right hand side, this is the output. So the right hand side is the output, means nothing but our graphical view output. But what was the view name? We not yet created any, provided any view name. So the technical name and the business name are still default values. So what I'm going to do, since it is a view, I am giving here cap v, v underscore, I give the same kind of name, purchase order dex. And since it is graphical view, I'm going to vg. Okay, view after graphical. So VG underscore purchase order DX is my technical name, and I am going to provide the same kind of a business name, the same name as business name. Then, so now I'm going for the designing. So we have many options available under this graphical view. You see this bar, horizontal bar, all of these options we are going to explore now. Okay, not each and everything, at least few. So when you bringing data from a remote table, it is not good if you, as part of general reporting also, we never do reporting on whole data from a table. We always go for some selections. And that too, we are currently learning this SAP Datasphere on a trial account, and we don't have too much data too much space available in our trial account. So to limit our data set, what I am going to do, I am going to create a filter on the remote table. So how to create a filter here? By using this filter icon, I can create a filter. But to apply the filter, first of all, I must know what is the data. If I, without knowing data, how can I keep filter? So we must see what type of data is there. Either we need to see at the source system side, or by clicking here and right click on it, not right click, but I think by going to this data viewer, here you can see the data preview of this one. You see data RT underscore purchase order. So when you click, if you open the data viewer window bottom and select any node, it will try to display data of that particular one. Okay, by clicking on view data, because it is fetching from the source connection, it is taking some time. But at least it will fetch some data. And one beauty of this trial version is S4 cloud data is updating day to day. It means you can find data of the latest date also here. Okay, when I verified this model, then I get to know. So let's see what we can see here. You see now I can see data from create the past data is from August 4 2016, and these are the different columns. And as of now I want to keep filter, right, to limit my data set. What filter I am going to do on purchase order date, I am going to keep filter to bring only yesterday's data. Okay, so let's try to keep filter. So click on the filter symbol. When you click on the filter symbol on the filters properties, here you can see the filter expression. Okay, so you can provide a filter name. You can name this filter with something. So for example, f underscore filter, right? F underscore, what filter name I can give? Base filter. Okay, now expression, I need to write with an expression. So we here we have multiple things. We can use SAP provided functions, and when we click on this column tab, we can see all the 57 columns that are available in my remote table. And if you have some input parameters and all, we can use those. And if you want some, plus or minus kind of operations and all, by clicking on other, you can get it. So as of now, what is my requirement? I want to keep filter on purchase order creation date. Purchase order date is there, right? Creation date, yes. So I am clicking on creation date, then creation date came here, and I'm going to other. Here I am giving greater than or equal to. I am going to provide the date here. So we must give date within the single quote. So 2023 hyphen in the same HANA format 03 04. Let's say fourth month, right? 04 hyphen 15. 15 is yesterday. So the data from 15th date till to current date, the data will come. So click on validate to check your syntax is correct or not. If it is validated, then yeah, it is not showing any error messages, then fine. Okay, we are good with the data. So now what I'm going to do, so now I'm clicking on here on the purchase order. So now when I click on here and go for the data preview, so clicking on the data preview, sorry, I have turned it off. Okay, so I'm clicking on VG underscore purchase order, my view name, and below data preview will come now. So because of, you see, delay wait data viewing, because of remote data, refreshing it to check am I getting any records or not after applying this filter. Earlier when I see data on RT purchase order, I see from 2016, but now if I see data on my VG purchase order, I must see data starting from 15th of April. You see April 15 2023, I have some data, and you see 24, I think 24 number of records are there here. So in this one, and I have around 57 fields are there. On the data viewer, it is not possible to show more than, I think, I don't know, I didn't count it, but it is not possible. We are not able to see, I can say, all the fields. And that too, as part of my requirement, let's suppose I don't need all the fields coming from my remote table. As I said, we need to restrict the data, restrict the column to make sure you to use this, trial version space very wisely. So what I am going to do, if our requirement is to exclude some of the columns coming from the remote table, how can I do? So while clicking on this, after clicking on the filter symbol, here we can exclude it. Okay, there is an option to exclude. You see, rename or exclude columns. If you click on this particular first one, it is rename or exclude columns. So I am clicking on this button. So after the filter option, I can exclude some of the columns. So by clicking here, and I can go here, so it is coming as a projection. So these three color lines are nothing but a projection node it is. Okay, since it is a projection, I can say p underscore um, base Okay, means base projection, let's say it is. Okay, I'm giving name. So here from I don't want, I have 57 fields I can see now here. I think no, it is out of 50 out of 57, only 50 columns it is able to, I can able to see here. By clicking here I can get the remaining 7 columns also, I think. Yeah. So total 57 columns I can see. Now whichever columns I don't need on the column section, I'm going to exclude those. For example, here purchase order subtype I don't want. So exclude column. And then language I don't want, exclude column. So by this now it will take some time for me. So I am pausing recording and then so I excluded most of the fields from this 57, and I want to show you one thing. So how to exclude it, I already showed you, like you can exclude or restore the column by clicking on the 3 dots at end of the each column. But when coming to the last columns, it is not possible to do so because I am getting one SAP icon here which is blocking me to go to the 3 dots. Okay, in such scenarios you can select the column and from the top here on the menu here you can find exclude selected column option. Like using this you can exclude those columns. Okay, just a tip. That's it. So I exclude the columns. Now you see on the right hand side out of 57 it is showing 31, means currently I excluded all the remaining columns, it means. Okay, now I am going here and then on the data preview tab I can see the data preview of it. Okay, so it is taking time. So view data. So let's see how much data I'm getting. Same 24 records I will get, but in this time what will happen? At least I can see reduced number of columns so that I can see order quantity and all here. So what are the columns? Purchase order, order category, no, and where are the KPIs? At least one KPI I'm not able to see here. Okay, I tried to do some changes here, but it's not working. Yeah, I thought of showing you some KPIs here, but this example was not correct. But when you do practice on your system, try to take purchase order item table where we have order quantity. So at least you can get some key figure, some columns, KPIs with the values. Okay, so that when I tried to change the date field, still it's same. I'm not able to see any KPIs with values. Okay, but when coming to the learning point of view, now we know how to keep filters here. So based upon your requirement, you can make this complex. You can write and operation and apply some other filters, and you can use some functions, to derive. For example, if you want to make it, derive this date from last 2 days or last 3 days, something using this, above functions, you can dynamically derive the date option, date field also here. Okay, and if we have some parameters, you can input parameter section we not yet covered, so we will see it. But at the when you fetching data from this input parameter, okay, in remote table, better not to apply any filters using parameters. Why? Because input parameters are such a kind like users need to give some selection on it, right? So because it is a kind of designer, it is showing all options available here, but for when fetching data from the remote tables, don't use parameters, as just a suggestion. Okay, that's it. Then okay, finally what else we are pending here? When I click on here, so now we know what is filter expression, we know what is exclude, how to exclude or rename. For example, if you want to rename any column, by here when you go here, change name option is coming, so here you can rename column name. So what else we are missing here? Calculate columns and then aggregation and then data viewer. Data viewer already you can see on the bottom, so no need of data viewer. So calculate column and this aggregation. So calculate columns also I don't feel here it is required, because in later sessions we are going to learn how to create models, right? In models we are going to create calculate columns. Okay, not here. And aggregation type of thing also we can use in the time of models learning. Okay, here it is not required. So this is all about how to import a remote table, and while importing data into the remote table, how you can keep filters, and how you can exclude the columns. So the next important point here is, first let's save this particular data view. It's a view, right? It's a view. So I'm saving this view. So we already provide the view technical name earlier. So the same business technical name is coming here. I'm clicking on save. And after clicking on save, try to deploy it. So once after deploy, we are going to learn few more concepts under this view, graphical view. So now it was processing, updating sources. So now, so far what completed? So we clicked on the save button, save completed. So now what else? Input parameters, as I said, we are not interested to create any input parameters in the remote tables, and then not remote table, even in the view also. Okay, in this view also, I don't want to create any input parameters here, and then go to the persistency. What is persistency? As I said earlier, so to fetching data in real time from source in means at the reporting point of time, okay, not real time, at the reporting time, fetching data from the source will take consume time based upon the number of records in the source side, and based upon the filters we apply also. Okay, in order to improve the performance, we can stage the data within the cloud itself. How we can do it? By using this persistency option, we can stage the data within the Datasphere cloud environment. It means nothing but in our space. Don't forget, we have separate spaces for each business. So whatever view we are creating, and under which view, which space I am creating this view, that storage is going to consume from this space only. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to create this persistency. So before that, first we need to deploy this. Okay, I'm clicking on deploy button. So I came one step back to check whether my view was deployed successfully or not. So I can see it was deployed. Now again I'm going into my graphical view. Now if I went into my graphical view, it's opening in the edit mode. Now let's go to the persistence to see what is it exactly. So you see now, once it was deployed successfully, then I can see the options under the persistence. Earlier, these options are not visible. Okay, because now it is deployed successfully, I can see it. Now, what are the options I have? Load new data. So as I said, using this persistence, we can bring data from source into our SAP Datasphere. Now let's configure this persistency. You can configure this persistency from here, or you can open this, view persistency monitor also. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to load new snapshot. I'm clicking on load new snapshot, and this action will schedule the persistency of view. Okay, click on S button. So then you get to know what exactly it is doing. We are persisting view VG order X. Okay. Now click on this, notifications, the deployment, the last notification what we got is a deployment was successful. Hmm. And then in order to see this, persistency, we can jump into this view persistency monitor window, click on this icon, then it is opening the monitor button. Here you see under this data integration monitor, we have multiple options. Remote table monitor. If you want, as I shown you earlier, even remote tables also we can persistent here. So I can see for this tab. And currently we are trying to persistent this view data. Under this view persistency monitor, I can see VG underscore purchase order persisted, refresh frequency. As of now, since I am not yet scheduled this extraction, it is showing none here, and last updated and used in memory. So this persistency as of now, because I taken the selection date of from 14th, I changed it from 15th to 14th, so I given date from 14th. So as of now it is consuming 0.25 MB. Okay, and the status available. Now click on this arrow mark at the end, then you can go to the next step here. This is your persistence monitor for this particular view. Okay, in the earlier screen you see all the views which are scheduled, not scheduled, but in this is explicitly for this purchase order DX graphical view. Now under this one you see status available. It means now when I execute my report on top of this view, it won't go to the source. It will bring data from here. Okay, so now what happened next? Here I can see task details, inserted data and persistency. 38 records got inserted into the persistence table. Okay, and data successfully persisted. That's it. Now what else? Now if I want to bring data again to check the latest records again from source into here. Under under this where is view persistency, I have further options. Load new snapshot, it means delete the data and take a new snapshot, or remove persistent data. So we have two options here. One is to delete data and reload, or remove the persistency. Once we remove the persistency, again when you do reporting on this graphical view, system will try to fetch data from the source as a virtual table. Okay, and if you want to load refresh by clicking on this refresh button, it will try to get again delta from it, I think. Okay, it's getting delta or not? I think it's not delta. I think how to get delta? Yeah, by clicking on this refresh button, I think it will fetch delta only. Let's see it. Now what next point we are going to learn is schedule option. Okay, under the schedule option, create schedule. So by creating the schedule, you can automate the process of extraction. Okay, so how can I automate it? Under the schedule option, you see enter as simple schedule, repeat on daily basis. Let's say not daily, let's take hourly basis. Okay, every 1 hour. Yeah, I think the only frequency what we have is hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. Let's go hourly, every hourly, starting at from the time. Use current it is UTC time is 0030. I think that's what is showing here. And if you want to give time as something local time and all, you can change it here. Okay, so run cycle is reset to 00 every day. And if you go here, it is you can specify starting at which at what UTC time you want to start it. You can give it here, and time range from when you want to start this schedule and by when you want to end it if needed, or else leave it so that it will keep on running on day-to-day basis. Okay, at minute 30 every 1 hour. So every 1 hour 30 minutes, 2 or 30 minutes, it will run it. Okay, so click on create button. So by doing so, what will happen? It is creating a schedule for you. Okay, on the left hand side you can see scheduled last next run at 23:30 time. Okay, so what else here? Yeah, we schedule it and it will run. And one important point is, so when you schedule it, you are asking SAP system to run this job instead of you. Okay, it means we are doing automation. So last time when I did this kind of thing, I got an error message. So for the schedule line item, when I'm trying and scheduling it for every daily, I think daily once, I got an error message. What error message I got? Consent not authorized. You have not authorized SAP to run task chains or schedule data integration task on your behalf. It means we need to provide our consent to run SAP this schedule. Okay, this was I didn't provide this consent. Due to that reason, it's not loaded further on a day-to-day basis. So what I did at that time I got one message on the top. Okay, one second, I will show you that. So this was the like this authorize us to run chains. This kind of warning message I got on the top. So when I did clicked on authorization, I got this kind of pop up, and then I authorized it. So from there onwards, this message is not coming. So on your case also, if you are getting this kind of authorization, provide authorization so that SAP can load data on behalf of yours on your scheduled time. Okay, so don't miss it. So when it is done, it will come. So this is how to create a schedule of your to make your data persistent, real-time replication. So now go back one step. Now we came back again into our graphical view. So under the graphical view now, under the persistency tab, you can see now it data persisted and available and updated everything. By using this updated at, you can tell at what was your last updated last time data load happened to your graphical view. Okay, so like this. And if you see this edit schedule, it means already there is a schedule happened for it. Okay, schedule already available. And when you click on this refresh button, I think getting persistent info. So what it is doing, it is trying to fetch data to my knowledge. So this is how to persist. So for what we learned in this session, we learned how to create a remote table and then how to create a graphical view on top of it. And while creating graphical view, how can you provide filter to exclude historical to get minimal data from the source, and then how to exclude unnecessary columns from the source remote table, and finally how to persist your data into the SAP Datasphere cloud environment. So these are the things we learned in our session. So in our next session, we see the further things.